Hi, everyone. I wanted to share my newsletter a bit differently this month. I just recently got back from a work team in West Africa, and I wanted to share a few pictures with a little bit of a voiceover for everyone. A little bit different here this time rather than writing out a report or a newsletter, but I wanted to share my trip. So, a group of us headed out to West Africa, and we were going to work on a continued equipment hangar there in our ministry for FIA. We have some property in West Africa where our missionaries live. A lot of the work there is continuing to be done to help support our well drilling ministry in West Africa. One of the cool things was, as I was talking to some friends that I have in Uganda, some of the nationals in Uganda thought because I was in Africa, they thought they could come and see me. However, when I told them how far I was away from Uganda, they realized that that was not possible. So it's just interesting to understand the perspective of how large Africa is. It would have taken quite a bit and across quite a few time zones to get from Uganda to where we were located in West Africa. We have a guest house for our teams to stay in. It's newly constructed, and the roof had just gone on before we got there, so it was really cool that they buttoned that up. It's pretty unique in it's one large room at this point to house teams. Very nice to be out of the sun and out of the dust. In the past, we have stayed out in the bush there, but now as things get solidified at Shiloh, we now have a guest house. I just love these big trees. The baobab tree is a very popular tree that you'll see throughout this area of West Africa, and is a very popular and very, very large tree, which you'll see later in my pictures. One of the unique things I thought was interesting was the solar power that they have already set up there at Shiloh. This is basically, again, well above my understanding of how electronics and how solar works. But I'm completely amazed at how off the grid they can be there, but yet can run welders, can run air conditioning. It's just a great resource. And they are very well equipped, and they're going to be adding to this system once we complete the hangar roof. They'll be putting in more solar panels and more batteries to allow for greater capacity on their energy at Shiloh. So our team consisted of 4 guys and 1 young lady, myself, and then Smitty again, and then Drew, a return traveler with Friends in Action. He's been out on a few well drilling trips with Friends in Action, and this is the first time I've gotten to meet him. He has a welding business. He and his son do welding full-time as a career. They have their own business. So it was a joy to meet Drew and to have him part of this team. And then in yellow is Gary. Gary and his wife, Lacey, came on this trip as well and were a huge blessing. Gary's been on multiple trips with us. I've served with Gary many times. He and Lacey and Smitty have all gone through our associates training at Friends in Action. So they are Friends in Action associates. It was a great blessing to have this team together. Both Gary and Smitty have been in West Africa in the past with me. We've worked together on these trusses before. Part of this hangar was done previously by us on a team in 2022. So we have been there before and have done this work. So this team really was a follow-up to the 2022 project, so we could see it come to a close. One of the things Gary has showed strength in is understanding the Hitz bender. So this is a special bender that is made by Jake Hitz. We bend the Z's through this machine, and Gary is very, very skilled at getting it set up, getting it fine-tuned so all the Z's are properly bent. So as I said, we took some time to get prepared. This area here is going to be where the final roof system is going to enclose the maintenance building. So this will house our well drilling equipment, so it's protected from the elements, and also as it gets worked on, it can be under shelter and not in direct sunlight. The next few pictures will show some progress. as we started to install the roof system. I've always loved the sunsets in West Africa. I've always loved to see how it brings a lot of oranges and yellows in the sky. An interesting thing is this picture you're looking at is actually the sun and not the moon. The dust cover can be so heavy at times where you can look directly at the sun and see the complete shape. But because of the thickness in the air and the dust in the air, all the rays don't come through. So it provides an interesting picture, whereas you may think you're looking at the moon, but it's actually directly at the sun through the density of the dust. Of course, with that sunshine comes temperatures quite warm. The area where we're at in West Africa has a dry heat. So while it is very hot and stifling hot, many of the days were triple digits. I captured this one day here where it was 104 degrees. So our workday consisted basically of sun up to sundown work. However, we took quite a long break midday when the hottest part of the day would be upon us. So we would start with breakfast around 6 o'clock every morning. We would gather together as a team, have breakfast, and get some information for the day, and then we would head out to the shop. We'd take a break around 11 o'clock, 11:30, grab something to eat, and just get inside for a little while, get out of the sun. We would go to our team's building and grab a snack and take about a half an hour break to give us that morning break. And the reason to say that's morning break is because we would not stop for lunch until around 2 o'clock or 2:30 in the afternoon. That allowed us to get out of the sun and out of the heat at the hottest part of the day. Usually the hottest part of the day was around 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we would take a long lunch and a bit of a siesta until about 4:30, and then we would head back out to finish up until it began to get dark. So that was kind of our day. A little bit different structure than what we're used to here in the States, but because of taking that siesta when the heat really hits you was a good break for the guys and seemed to work well. We would also do our team devotions during our lunch break as well. So we would have lunch, do our time of devotions, and then really just relax. So our middle weekend here at Shiloh for the past few years has been a break to an area along the coast where we can enjoy some overnight lodging, some cooler temperatures by the coast, enjoy some time in the water, and just a really nice break. What that provided for me was the ability to see dear friends of ours who are missionaries in the same area of West Africa. And it was great to see them and their family. The spot that we go to is a beautiful area, and it's just a really nice time to get out and get relaxed, to catch up on some sleep, and just a good time of refreshment. But all good things must come to an end. So we headed back on Sunday evening, back to Shiloh, back to the work site, and got started again first thing Monday morning. It was a real joy to work with this team, guys who have experience in heavy equipment, experience in construction, and also experience in understanding the safety behind what we were doing and how to do it safely, how to do it efficiently. So it's just a real blessing to have this team together. God called each person to this team specifically with the different skill sets that they could help complete this project. So the second week we concentrated on getting the truss members up and getting things ready for sheeting the roof in. Not only do we install all the trusses, however, we need to put an awful lot of bracing in it as well to help stabilize during the heavy winds and the rains. One morning I captured this beautiful sunrise. This picture has no filter. Both myself and the others captured a few great pictures of this sunrise. It was a beautiful, beautiful sunrise the one morning. We got a chance to see some ministry. One of the young men that have been working with the families there at Shiloh has been ministering to 5 different villages, and we were so blessed to see part of his ministry one evening. Here's one of the games they play. It's their version of what we would call musical chairs. As the second week of our trip wound down, we got the opportunity to do 2 other projects. We built a ship's ladder to get up on the roof, as well as a catwalk to walk across to access the existing solar panels that are on the first part of the hangar, as well as access the new solar panels that are going to be an addition to the new roof that we installed. So as the second week came to a close, there was quite a few odds and ends that needed to be buttoned up. Bracing, extra welds, a few different things needed done before we could put the roofing on. One of the God stories I can share is we were going to attempt to put the roofing on one day, and it just was too windy. It was just not safe to be pulling around the roof panels. So we stopped for the day and decided that the next morning we were going to get out pretty quickly and try to get these installed prior to the wind picking up for the day. So we got out that morning and we got up on the roof and realized that the wind was starting to feel like it was going to pick up again. So a few of us said a quick prayer and just asked God that we could get this roof on today. And amazingly enough, things calmed down, and it was a beautiful, beautiful morning. The winds were still. We hustled to get the roof up. Everybody worked in coordination very, very efficiently, and we were able to get it pulled up. And about an hour after we were done, the winds came in, and if we would have been any later, we would have had to cancel putting the roof on. But God knew, and God ordained the wind to give us a break and give us that window to be able to install the roof steel. So praise be to God. So here's a look at the final project, the addition of the roof that we installed. This will be then the maintenance shop for the well drilling equipment and support vehicles. The first section of the maintenance shop over the first two containers on the left is 80 feet, and the new addition that we put on is 60 feet. So lots of room for the equipment to be maintained and protected from the elements. Thank you so much for your support on this trip. Thank you for going with me. Thank you for supporting us through prayer and finances. We could not do this without each one of you who are part of our teams that go in spirit. And we just can't thank you enough for lifting us up in prayer for, once again, another successful, God-led project in West Africa.